You've heard the hype, right? The car sharing market is absolutely booming, filled with these visions of easy profits and green transportation. But here's the catch. It's also a space that is notorious for burning through cash. So the real question is, how do you actually build a car sharing business that makes money? Well, we're about to unpack the playbook for doing exactly that. All right, let's just cut straight to the chase with the $1 million question, isn't it? Is car sharing actually profitable? I mean, it's the question that keeps founders up at night for sure. And the answer? Well, it's not quite as simple as you might think. So the short answer is yes, absolutely. Car sharing can be incredibly profitable. But, and this is the big paradox we need to dig into, most new ventures that jump into this space, they fail. Why is that? That's what we're here to figure out.
So what's going on here? Why are so many of these companies missing the mark? Well, I can tell you it's not because there's a lack of demand or that the market is bad. It's more like a profit puzzle. And all the pieces really come down to how you run the business, right from day one.
Okay, take a look at this. These are the usual suspects, the big challenges that can just sink a car-sharing startup before it even gets going. We're talking massive, and I mean massive, upfront costs just to develop the software. Then there's the logistical nightmare of getting cars onto your platform, a ton of manual work just to keep the lights on, and on top of all that, you've got money just slipping through the cracks from bad tracking and the ever-rising cost of finding new customers. You can see how the profits just disappear. And this really brings us to the core truth of the entire industry. The idea of car sharing, it's solid. The market, it's there, and it's growing. The number one reason for failure is almost always the execution. It's about the strategic choices you make right at the very beginning. Which leads us to probably the single most important decision a car sharing founder is going to make. It's the classic build versus buy dilemma. Do you spend a fortune and maybe a year or more building your own custom software, or do you buy a solution that's ready to go and hit the market fast? And when you lay it out like this, the choice is, well, it's pretty stark, isn't it? On one side, you have building from scratch, which is a road paved with unpredictable costs, long development timelines, and this constant burden of maintenance. On the other side, buying a ready-made solution gives you predictable pricing, a launch in weeks, not years, and way, way lower risk. Let's really talk about this race to revenue, because that's what this is. A custom build can easily take 12, even 18 months before you see your first dollar. That's over a year of just burning cash. A ready-made platform, on the other hand, can have you live and actually earning revenue in just a few weeks. That time difference, it's everything. So, how does this choice really hammer your return on investment? Well, choosing to buy isn't just about taking a shortcut. It's a fundamental strategic move that completely changes your financial future and honestly clears a much faster path to profitability. Think about it like this. The custom build path is like starting at the bottom of this huge mountain of upfront costs, with a long, slow journey to that break-even point. But the ready-made path? You're starting with a much smaller hill to climb. And because you start making money almost right away, you reach profitability so much faster. And this should be the goal. For any new car-sharing venture, this is what you should be aiming for. Not just to launch someday, but to generate real revenue in your very first month and hit that break-even point within just a few quarters. I'm telling you, with the right strategy, this isn't just a dream. It's a totally achievable business plan.
Okay, so how do you know if you're even on the right track? Well, you have to be obsessed with your metrics. A good platform is going to have all of this built right in, so you can see your customer acquisition cost, your revenue per vehicle, churn rates, everything you need to make smart, fast decisions.
All right, let's switch gears a little. We've talked a lot about saving money and avoiding costs. Now let's talk about making money. Because the right software, it's not a cost center, it's a revenue engine. It should come with a smart monetization playbook built right in. Here's a rookie mistake: relying only on booking commissions. That is the slow road to nowhere. The smartest platforms let you build multiple streams of revenue. Think about adding subscription plans for your hosts, or charging for featured listings, or using dynamic pricing during busy times. This kind of diversification is what builds a really resilient, profitable business. And you can be really strategic about it. The commission model, it's perfect for when you're just starting out. It makes it super easy for hosts to join, which helps you grow fast. Then, once you're more established, you can introduce subscription models to create that stable, predictable monthly revenue. The best platforms let you evolve like this. Automation isn't just a nice-to-have for efficiency. It's your revenue's bodyguard. It actively protects your money. Think about it. The rate software automatically figures out commissions, handles security deposits, and this is a big one. It automatically enforces penalties for late returns or cancellations. It's like having a digital accountant that plugs every single potential leak, making sure you keep every dollar you earn. Okay, finally, let's talk about the long game, scaling your success. Because the choice you make today absolutely determines whether you can grow tomorrow without just hitting a brick wall. See, a truly scalable platform gives you options. It gives you room to grow. You might start with standard cars, but then, without having to rebuild anything, you can expand into these really high-margin niches like EV sharing, luxury cars for special events, corporate fleets, or even commercial cargo vans. That flexibility is how you future-proof your business. And that right there, that's what real scalability looks like. It means being able to launch in new cities, support totally different types of vehicles, and manage the whole shebang under a single platform without having to multiply your infrastructure costs every single time you want to grow. Which, brings us right back to our central theme. And it's summed up perfectly by this quote. In the world of car sharing, having a good idea is just your ticket to get in the game. Winning is all about the execution. So, there you have it. The path to a profitable car-sharing business, it's not some big mystery. It all comes down to making the right strategic choices from day one. And that leaves us with one final, really critical question for you to think about. What's your execution strategy going to be?